Now, let me tell you what I observed today. I have my son enrolled in a private school. He is a 4-year-old and he's enrolled in private school. And today I took him to school like any other day. And we got into the school. I walked him into his classroom and I observed there being a different teacher in the classroom. Well, while we're there, the male teacher stands up and he goes, "Okay, kids, we're going to all sit down on the rug and read a story." So then another little boy that was seated on the carpet, he stands up. And I observed with my own 2 eyes, the male teacher grabs the little boy by the arm, pulls him, and shoves him down to make him sit. And he goes, "I said sit down." At this point in time, I'm shaking because I can't believe what I just saw. Now, mind you, I still got my son over here, mommy, mommy, mommy. So I'm trying to tend to my son, but I'm also keeping my eye on this man. So the little boy stands up again a few seconds later. He turns around because he's trying to like tap his friend on the shoulder. And then I observe again, the male teacher reaches out, grabs the boy very roughly by the right shoulder, pulls him down to the ground and says, "I said sit down." At this point in time, I'm seeing red. Can't believe what's happening. And so at this point, when I see him pull this boy down and shove him to the ground to forcefully make him sit down for a second time, at that point in time, I'm just like, okay, all bets are off. So I say to him, I said, "Let me ask you a question." I said, "Is that your child?" He said, "Who, him?" I went, "Yeah, is that your child?" He went, "Oh no, I'm a teacher." I said, "Because the way that you've been grabbing on him is extremely inappropriate." And I said, "Furthermore, I've been observing how you've been speaking to these children. And quite frankly, it's been quite disturbing to listen to how you respond to them." And he goes, "Well, sometimes you just have to be like firm with them to get them to listen." I said, "Sir, what you're presenting to me is not conscious discipline." I said, it is degradation, it is humiliation, it's not kind, and it's not acceptable." And I said, "Furthermore, if I had been the parent of this child that you just forcefully made sit down by pulling him and forcing him to the ground," I said, "I would be calling the police on you right now." And I said, "You better hope that the police got to you before my husband did."
Let's speak on that real quick, right? So here's the thing. I don't necessarily have an opinion on this particular subject, right? But I do want to ask the people who are parents, what are your opinions on this? Because just from what I am seeing and hearing, and also let me add, I am also a strong advocate of more male teachers in the classroom. Let me start by saying that. But from what I am hearing, to me, a guy who does not have a child in grade school yet, from what I am hearing, it sounds like a little bit of overreacting here. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think, because if he told that student to sit down and the little boy stood up, which we all know little boys have problems with sitting down, sitting still, things of that nature. What was he supposed to do? Was he supposed to say, "Can you please sit down? Can you stop being disobedient? Please, Mr. Student, sir?" I'm not sure. Y'all let me know, because I'm a firm believer if more of these children in the city of Atlanta, because I'm in the city of Atlanta, she's in the city of Atlanta, if more of these children within the city had more structured discipline from males, we probably wouldn't be hearing about most of this violence that goes on today. And let me say this. She said, "You better hope the police get here before my husband do." Well, I hope your husband don't get there first, because you'll be putting him in a hell of a situation. And if it is that serious, yeah, maybe the cops should handle it, because you'll be putting your husband in a situation of him not being able to come home that day or possibly ever. So we have to be cognizant about the position that we put people in also. And I want to wrap this video up by saying, try to take yourself out of it and try to take your emotions out of it and try to see it from an overall view. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below.